Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I'm Mary Pouton, Assistant Dean for Development at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. Thank you for joining us virtually today to witness Dr. Stuart Martin's installation as the Doctors Angela and Harry Brody Professor in Translational Cancer Research. Our investiture ceremonies have become one of our most meaningful celebrations at the School of Medicine. This important tradition allows us to celebrate the wonderful achievements of one of our esteemed faculty members. It highlights that endowed professorships are among our top priorities and play a critical role in providing support for our faculty who are dedicated to improving human life health. Today's ceremony is one small way to convey the school's immense appreciation to our donor and to demonstrate the power of philanthropy. Now, it's my privilege to introduce today's Master of Ceremonies, Dr. Margaret McCarthy. Dr. McCarthy is the James and Carolyn Frankel Dean's Professor and Chair of the Department of Pharmacology at the University of Maryland School of Medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Margaret McCarthy.
Thanks so much for the introduction, Mary, and thank you all for joining us on this prestigious occasion in which we honor several deserving individuals. It is a pleasure to serve as the Master of Ceremonies. We have several special guests, and I particularly want to welcome the son of Harry and Angela Brody, Mark, and his wife, Amy, and hopefully their two sons, all of whom live in California. I also want to welcome Stuart Martin's wife, Dr. Agina Martin, and his three children, Kyle, Corinne, and Kira. Kyle and Corinne are undergraduates in the School of Engineering at University of Maryland College Park, and perhaps Kira will follow in their footsteps soon. Our first speaker this evening will be Dr. E. Albert Reese, the Executive Vice President for Medical Affairs at the University of Maryland, Baltimore, the John Z. and Akiko K. Bowers Distinguished Professor, and the Dean of the University of Maryland School of Medicine. Please, Dean Reese.
Thank you, Dr. McCarthy, and thank you for your very kind introduction. Good evening and welcome to this virtual investiture ceremony. Today we honor Dr. Stuart Martin on the occasion of his investiture as the Doctors Angela and Harry Brody Professorship in Translational Cancer Research. And we recognize the legacy of Doctors Angela and Harry Brody and other generous supporters for the creation of this professorship. It is our goal to be among the very best medical schools in our nation and indeed the world. And that means that we must have the very best talent. Endowed faculty professorships and chairs make it possible to recruit and indeed retain renowned physicians and scientists. Endowed professorships, including the Doctors Angela and Harry Brody Professorship in Translational Cancer Research, collectively provide our excellent faculty members with critical resources needed to sustain and to expand promising research, to launch innovative clinical initiatives, and to educate and train physician scientists of tomorrow. Gifts for the endowed professorships hold a very special place in academic medicine. Of the many uses of philanthropy, namely buildings, scholarships, research support, clinical programs, and even operating funds, the creation of a named professorship is arguably the most impactful and enduring. The unique function of endowed professorship is sustaining scholarship and advancing care in a particular field over decades, if not over centuries. These highlight the esteemed positions in which these professorships are held. Our first endowed professorship here at the University of Maryland School of Medicine was established through a gift made over 90 years ago in 1929 through the estate of John F.B. Weaver from the class of 1894. The impact of our first endowed professorship can be seen here at the School of Medicine today, as it is currently held by Dr. Richard Eckert, the Professor and Chair of the Department of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. As stated in his obituary, Dr. Weaver was a resident of Manchester, Maryland, where he was a general practitioner who took a keen interest in the community about him. Until 1916, he was a state health officer for the 6th District. Dr. Weaver showed a rare intuition in placing his money correctly. This allowed him to leave his entire legacy gift to the School of Medicine. Our legacy of excellence and impact has been supported by this tradition of endowed professorships and the visionary benefactors who have established them. Dr. Weaver set the precedent, which has been followed by many others, and the University of Maryland School of Medicine is fortunate to now have nearly 84 endowed chairs and professorships in various stages of completion, and which are held by a number of distinguished faculty members. Over the course of the program, we will hear from Dr. Martin's colleagues and friends who will highlight his significant career achievements and accomplishments. So, Dr. Martin, let me be the first to extend my sincerest congratulations to you on your accomplishments and on this very special celebration of your career as we honor you for all the contributions that you have made to medicine and science. Before we move forward with the ceremony, Dr. Martin, I'd like to take a few minutes to recognize the Greenbaum Family Foundation, whose financial contribution made this professorship and today's celebration possible. Michael Greenbaum, as part of the Investiture ceremony tradition, the School of Medicine has designed a special medallion to uniquely recognize the faculty members who hold these professorships. The front of the medallion features the image of the founder and first dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. John Beal Davidge, and you'll also see the historic building called Davidge Hall. On the back of the medallion lists the 4 tenets of our mission: education, research, patient care, and service. In addition, you'll see the official name of the endowed professorship. This framed replica of the medallion symbolizes the significant impact made upon this institution in the area of translational cancer research through this professorship. I present to you today in appreciation of your contribution and your vision to find such a critical position at the School of Medicine to make this gift. And for this, we're most grateful. At this time, I'd like to invite you, Michael Greenbaum, to share remarks on behalf of the Greenbaum family.
Thank you very much, Dean Reese. I'd like to say how much I'm honored to be part of this investiture ceremony for Dr. Stuart Martin. It's very fitting that the Angela and Harry Brody professorship is going to be transferred to Dr. Martin. Of course, the Brodys have played an instrumental role in my life. The development of the aromatase inhibitor by the Brodys really is what kept my mom alive for many years during her treatment at the University of Maryland Greenbaum Cancer Center. The development of the aromatase inhibitor was certainly a major breakthrough and milestone in the treatment of breast cancer. And it makes me wonder really where the future is going to be with Dr. Martin's work when we look back 30 years from now. It reminds me very much of a Jewish expression called l'dor v'dor, from generation to generation. And I feel that this is the passing of research from one generation to the next. And I can only imagine the breakthroughs and advances that will come about from the research that Dr. Martin is doing. And I learned a lot about the Brodys preparing for this investiture, and I didn't realize how integral Harry was with the development of the aromatase inhibitor, with his chemistry background and creating a compound that made it possible. So I really do hold the Brodys in such high regard. And after meeting with Dr. Martin, we spoke for about an hour, and he was explaining to me the details of his research with metastasis of cancer. And ultimately, that is what really what my mom succumbed to was the metastasis to the rest of her body. While we could, do a great job with treating the breast cancer, eventually it did metastasize to other areas of the body. And I'm very much intrigued by the work that Dr. Martin is going to continue to be doing under this professorship, understanding at the cellular level how the tentacles of the cells, and he showed me how they can actually look at these images and understand better how they react with healthy cells. And it was just fascinating. Usually I have a joke with Dr. Kevin Cullen whenever somebody says enzyme in a meeting, I tend to tune out. But Dr. Martin said enzyme, and I became even more intrigued. And it really, this is really groundbreaking work that he's doing. And I'm very much, on behalf of the Greenbaum family, I'm very pleased to be a part of it. The one thing about professorships is that it allows innovative ideas to basically begin. When critical funding is needed, the professorship allows researchers to really explore areas that maybe weren't explored before or haven't been thought about. Very, very much the way the Brodies kind of came about with the aromatase inhibitor. So it's a great honor. I know that this professorship is going to lead to great breakthroughs in cancer. I know my mom and dad they'd be real proud. And I want to thank everybody involved at the Cancer Center and at the School of Medicine. And I really do appreciate the framed medal. I would open this up and try to wear it if I thought it would make me smarter, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I am, as I like to say, I'm a glorified cheerleader. I love telling the world about what's happening at the School of Medicine and at the University of Maryland Greenbaum Cancer Center. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. And Stuart and I very much enjoyed our conversation with you last week, in which he showed you much of his research findings and your engaging and inquisitive questions. We have in the past, and will again today, hear a great deal about the impactful life-saving work of Angela and Harry Brody and their wonderful scientific partnership, with Harry being the chemist who developed the first aromatase inhibitors, and Angela being the bench scientist who translated this valuable tool into a frontline treatment for breast cancer. What many people don't know is the additional supportive role played by Harry, who once told me that Angela would work late into the evenings and often forget about coming home. Once she came home and Harry and their two young hungry sons were there waiting, expecting her to bring the groceries, which she had simply forgotten. And Harry said that is when he decided that he needed to take over the shopping and learn to do the cooking, and he has done so every day since. And that is when I knew what a truly brilliant woman Angela Brody was. But returning to Harry, Dr. Harry Brody has had a lifelong dedication to further the achievements in the field of translational cancer research. His work has directly impacted his peers and mentees and the lives of patients. So on behalf of the University of Maryland Greenbaum Comprehensive Cancer Center, the Department of Pharmacology, and the School of Medicine, it gives me great pleasure to present you, Harry, with a Lifetime Achievement Award. This award reads, University of Maryland, Marlon and Stuart Greenbaum Comprehensive Cancer Center and the Department of Pharmacology of the University of Maryland School of Medicine honor Harry Brody, PhD, with a Lifetime Achievement Award for his synthesis and preclinical research of 4-hydroxyandrostenedione, a selective aromatase inhibitor that pioneered modern breast cancer therapies. Thank you for your innovative and inspiring work, Harry. Would you now please say a few words?
I want to thank especially three people who was responsible for giving me this lifetime award. Dean Reese, of course, who always supported Angela with putting her name in for new awards. And Kevin Cullen, the director of the Cancer Institute, who said that Angela and all my work was the best thing that happened to breast cancer treatment in over 100 years, which really brought tears to my eyes. And of course, Peg McCarthy, the head of the pharmacology department, who's been especially nice to me since Angela died, giving me access to Angela's office and taking whatever I needed of Angela's, which the office was her home for over 30 years. They were all very special in my heart. I want to thank the University of Maryland Medical School for this honor that they are bestowing on Andrew and me, this naming this endowed professorship after us. Angela's home has been here at the University of Maryland for over 30 years. And all her greatest successes as a scientist have happened here. She got here in 1979, and almost immediately afterwards, she was able to get someone to do a clinical trial on our aromatase inhibitor, which was successful, and then everything opened up wonderfully for her after that. And so she got her first award in 2020, the Brinker Award, and then they kept coming on average every 1.5 years, they kept coming until she retired at age 82 in 2016. And all that time, the university has been wonderful to her, and of course to me also in reflection. And she was really gratified to be made emeritus, retired professor emeritus. And then there's now this award with our name on it really makes my heart fill with gratitude. And I'm sure my family feels the same.
Thank you, Dr. Brody. It is now time to move forward with our ceremony to honor Dr. Stuart Martin. So much of what we experience as scientists is criticism and rejection. Our grants aren't funded, our papers need extensive revision, and our students' thesis needs work. It's exhausting. So it is a wonderful thing to be able to participate in the recognition and rewarding of an outstanding scientist who is in the prime of his career, having already conducted transformative research and knowing that the best is yet to come. Stuart is such a scientist. His work on the role of microtentacles and cancer metastasis holds tremendous promise for preventing the devastating cancer recurrences experienced by so many breast cancer survivors. And it's a perfect complement to aromatase inhibitors developed by Harry and Angela, which serve a similar purpose. He is most deserving of this recognition. Stuart brings passion and unbridled enthusiasm to his cutting-edge work that's combined with rigor and the exacting standards required when attempting to translate one's basic findings to the clinic. Stuart is also one of the most engaging speakers you will ever have the pleasure of watching, and I encourage you not to miss the opportunity if it presents itself. At this time, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Kevin Cullen. Dr. Cullen is the Marlin and Stuart Greenebaum Distinguished Professor of Oncology and the Director of the University of Maryland Marlene and Stuart Greenebaum Comprehensive Cancer Center. When Dr. Cullen started at the UMGCCC Director in 2004, he recruited Dr. Martin to the faculty from his postdoc at Harvard Medical School. During the past 16 years, Dr. Cullen's support has helped foster innovation in Dr. Martin's research and encouraged him to take on new leadership roles at the SOM. Dr. Martin highlights that Kevin's unwavering enthusiasm to bring in new technologies and research teams is really the foundation that has allowed us to pursue the high-risk scientific discoveries that will be needed to improve cancer treatment. Please, Dr. Cullen.
I'm absolutely delighted to be here today for the investiture ceremony for the Angela and Harry Brody Professorship, which will be held by Stuart Martin. It's a particular pleasure for me because I get to honor several extraordinary people who have meant so much to me personally, but more importantly, to this center and to the cancer patients around the world. All of us who had the pleasure of working with Angela Brody revered her not only for her prowess as a scientist, but also for her generosity as a teacher and mentor. But it's particularly appropriate that this professorship is named for both Angela and Harry, because it was Harry who conceived of the notion of aromatase inhibitors and that they might be useful for cancer treatment even before Angela joined his laboratory in 1971. I'm delighted that we are able to honor Harry today because it was his vision and skill which was the foundation for the work Angela continued here at Maryland, which ultimately led to this clinical breakthrough. As the efficacy of formestane and its successors became apparent in numerous clinical trials, the concept that Harry had developed years before was vindicated. Angela continued to work to study how aromatase inhibitors could be used in a variety of clinical settings. Today, aromatase inhibitors are used worldwide by hundreds of thousands of women per year, saving countless lives. Angela received numerous accolades for her work over time, including the General Motors Kettering Prize for the most important advance in the treatment of cancer. She was the first woman to win this prestigious award, but it was just one of many that Angela won over the years. I'm particularly fond of this picture. At the GM Award ceremony in 2005, Angela is pictured here with Marlene and Stuart Greenebaum, our wonderful benefactors for whom the Cancer Center is named. Marlene had been diagnosed with breast cancer in 1990 and was free of her disease until shortly before this photograph was taken, when the cancer unfortunately recurred in multiple parts of her body. Her oncologist, Dr. Tachek, put her on the very aromatase inhibitors developed here, and Marlene went on to live 13 wonderful years with her family, thanks to the research that Angela and Harry pioneered. I know that Marlene and Stuart would have been absolutely delighted to be here with us today, and I'm particularly grateful to their children, Michael and Amy, and especially thankful to Michael, who provided the funding to support this professorship in Angela and Harry's honor. It's particularly fitting and gratifying that Stuart Martin will be the first incumbent of this chair. Stuart arrived at the Greenebaum Cancer Center at virtually the same time I became the director in 2004. It's been my pleasure to support him and watch his career blossom in his time here. He has become a national leader in breast cancer research and now directs our basic science programs in breast and prostate cancer. Like Angela, he is an outstanding scientist and an incredibly generous mentor and teacher. Like Angela, he represents the pinnacle of science that this cancer center is known for. So to Harry and to the Greenebaum family, my heartfelt thanks. And to Stuart Martin, please accept my congratulations on behalf of the entire Greenebaum Cancer Center. I know your achievements will honor the legacy of Harry and Angela Brody.
Thank you, Dr. Cullen. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Amy Fulton. Dr. Fulton is a professor in the Department of Pathology here at the School of Medicine. Dr. Fulton has been an important mentor for Dr. Martin throughout his entire career on the Cancer Center faculty. Together with Dr. Brody, Dr. Fulton helped recruit Dr. Martin to join the Cancer Center through their shared interest in breast cancer research and treatment. Dr. Fulton has provided insight as a mentor through every stage of Dr. Martin's academic career, and he says that she is the only person who I could always knock on her door and brainstorm about anything, and that has been incredibly valuable. Please, Dr. Fulton.
Thank you for inviting me to participate in the investiture of Dr. Stuart Martin as the first Drs. Angela and Harry Brody Professorship in Translational Cancer Research. First, my best wishes to Harry Brody, his son Mark, and his family. And congratulations to Harry for his Lifetime Achievement Award. Harry, the work that you and Angela did has changed the outcomes for hundreds of thousands of women with breast cancer worldwide, so congratulations. Then I'd like to extend my welcome to Stuart's family, to his wife, Agina, and his children, Kyle, Corin, and Kira. And I'm sorry we can't be together. I was part of the team who recruited Stuart to the University of Maryland Greenbaum Cancer Center in 2004, fresh from his research fellowship at Harvard. Stuart rose to the ranks rapidly to professor with tenure in 2016 at our institution. Beginning as an undergraduate and really continuously from the time he was an undergraduate, graduate, postdoctoral fellow, and throughout his career, he's been able to obtain very competitive peer-reviewed funding to support his training and his work. When he came here, he early on was awarded a very competitive, very large Department of Defense award, the Era of Hope Scholars Award. This is a very prestigious award, and it reflected his ability to recruit colleagues with complementary expertise to develop very strong, large teams who can answer questions that are really not possible to answer in one laboratory. Stuart has enjoyed continuous funding from the National Institutes of Health, the Veterans Administration, the Department of Defense, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, and other foundations throughout his career. So what is the significance of his research? So as all of you I'm sure appreciate, for most cancers, for most solid tumors, it is not the primary tumor that causes mortality. It is the spread of cells from that primary tumor to distant sites. And so Stuart and his team and his collaborators are seeking to understand the mechanisms that cells use. When you think about it, they have to leave the primary tumor, they have to enter the blood vessels or the lymphatics. This is a very hostile environment. They have to attach to the inner wall of a blood vessel or a lymphatic, and then they have to traverse through that wall and establish themselves at a secondary site. And Stuart and his team have identified a novel structure. If we were looking at a live microscope image, this is something you can see on the membrane of a tumor cell, where you see these very dynamic tentacles that are sticking out of the cell. They call these microtentacles, and they believe that these facilitate the transit of tumor cells and their survival as they metastasize. As I said, he built a multidisciplinary team to do this. He's involved biomedical engineers and biophysicists at the University of Maryland College Park. He has collaborators at Johns Hopkins Oncology Center and other institutions as well. And it is that leadership that distinguishes Stuart. In addition to his outstanding science, Stuart is also a superb teacher. He was recognized as Teacher of the Year by the Graduate Program in Life Sciences, and he received an Outstanding Mentorship Award from the Pat Sokolow Award. So, outstanding scientist, outstanding teacher, and the third leg of the stool, as we say, is that he's also contributed significant service both to the School of Medicine and to the greater scientific community. He's just recently taken on two very senior and significant roles in our school. One is as chair of the Appointments, Promotions, and Tenure Committee, a very important committee on campus, and he's also taken on a program leadership role in the Greenbaum Cancer Center. So for all these reasons, Stuart is a leader. He propels the School of Medicine forward, and he has done this while maintaining the highest scientific and ethical standards. So Stuart, congratulations to you, well deserved.
Thank you, Dr. Fulton. At this time, our last speaker of the evening is Dr. Konstantinos Konstantinopoulos. Dr. Konstantinopoulos is the William H. Schwartz Professor of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering at the Johns Hopkins University. Dr. Konstantinopoulos is a longtime collaborator of Dr. Martin's at the Johns Hopkins Department of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering. Together, they have strong common interests in combining engineering methods and cancer biology to target cancer metastasis. Dr. Martin's very first PhD graduate student, Eric Balzer, joined Dr. Konstantinopoulos' lab for a postdoc in 2010, further cementing their relationship, and they have been publishing articles together and collaborating on NIH R01 grants ever since. Dr. Martin considers Dr. Konstantinopoulos an incredibly engaging and productive collaborator with an enthusiasm for discovery that has inspired new directions in the work of my laboratory. Please, Dr. Konstantinopoulos.
Thank you for the introduction. I am very happy to be here with you today to honor my collaborator and friend, Professor Stuart Martin. I first met Stuart about 10 years ago when I recruited to my lab as a postdoctoral fellow his first doctoral student, Dr. Eric Balzer, who now works at Nikon Instruments. This recruitment served as the catalyst for initiating a fruitful, exciting, and long-lasting collaboration. During these years, I have been truly impressed with the long list of remarkable research contributions that Stuart has made. Stuart is, by any quantitative or qualitative measure, a truly exceptional scientist. He is very well established and extremely well respected in the field of cancer research. He is high quality and very productive. As quantitative evidence, Stuart has published over 80 research publications in journals of the highest caliber, and his work has been the torchlight for thousands of publications generated by others in the field. One of his most seminal discoveries is that of microtentacles, which are finger-like protrusions that facilitate the anchoring of cancerous cells to the blood vessel walls during their journey to conquer the human body. In addition to being an exceptional researcher, I have first-hand evidence that Stuart is an outstanding educator, mentoring, and inspiring postdoctoral fellows, graduate and undergraduate students. Also, I know from my wife, Dr. Katia Kondrogiani, who is a faculty at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, that Stuart is a terrific instructor. In sum, Stuart has all these qualities that are required for this immense honor to him. He is a world leader in the area of cancer research, a terrific instructor, and an exceptional mentor. But most importantly, he is a man with the finest personal qualities. Looking at his CV, I noted that as an undergraduate student, Stuart was named the Howard Hughes Research Fellow. As a graduate student, he was the Lucille Markey Predoctoral Fellow and then the Winchell Postdoctoral Fellow. And from now on, he will be the Doctors Angela and Harry Brody Professor of Translational Cancer Research. Stuart, warmest congratulations for this truly well-deserving recognition. I'm very happy for you. I am truly privileged to be associated with you. And of course, the University of Maryland School of Medicine is very lucky to have such a terrific scholar. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Konstantopoulos, for your kind and insightful words. It is now time to move forward with our ceremony to honor Dr. Martin. Dr. Martin, I'm delighted to present to you one of the School of Medicine's and the university's highest honors. This is indeed this endowed professorship. This honor acknowledges your career accomplishments and your contributions to academic medicine. I know that your peers and your colleagues in attendance today and throughout the School of Medicine will agree that you are most deserving of this honor. I'm now pleased to present to you this medallion, which signifies that you have now become the Doctors Angela and Harry Brody Professor in translational cancer research. I hope that you'll proudly display this medallion and wear it publicly at major events such as investiture ceremonies, convocations, and commencement. Dr. Martin, we would be delighted if you'd present some remarks to us at this time. Thank you very much, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you for the very kind comments, and thank you all for joining us here tonight. And now I'd like to ask the other Dr. Martin, my wife, Dr. Regina Martin, to join me. In this era of social distancing, she can be the one to put the Brody Medal around my neck instead of Dean Reese. As the Drs. Regina and Stuart Martin, we are very happy that I can begin this role as the Drs. Angela and Harry Brody Professor in Translational Cancer Research. The work of Angela and Harry is such an inspiration to all of us who seek to use scientific discovery to help improve the lives of cancer patients. The pioneering research that they did together on aromatase inhibitors has literally changed the way breast cancer is treated and benefited so many patients around the world. This endowed chair will now support new ways of inhibiting metastasis, which is a problem that still challenges so many cancer patients. As I take on this role, it is an important opportunity to also recognize the many people who made this endowed chair possible. Michael Greenbaum and the Greenbaum family, who made the donation to honor the work of Angela and Harry. This support will allow us to innovate in ways that would not have been possible before. Dean Reese, who has always encouraged our work and made the School of Medicine such a great place for research. All along the way, I've been fortunate to have incredible mentors and team members who have really pushed this work forward. You've heard from some of these important mentors tonight. Peg McCarthy, who was a driving force to establish this endowed chair to honor Angela and Harry. Kevin Cullen, who first recruited me to the Cancer Center and helped me build our research program. Amy Fulton, who together with Angela, inspired me to join the School of Medicine and has been a nonstop mentor for the past 16 years. And also Kostas Konstantopoulos, who's collaborated with our group for the past decade on some very exciting new science. A few other mentors I would like to acknowledge are three physicians who helped shape my scientific outlook. The first, as you can see here, is Dr. Stuart Walker, a person who I raced sailboats with for more than 35 years. Dr. Walker was also a professor here at the School of Medicine in the Department of Pediatrics, and actually chair of pediatrics at Mercy Hospital until he retired in 1984. He taught me a lot about leadership, but also how important it is to be an effective crew member for the team to succeed. He unfortunately passed away in 2018, but we continued racing actively on the Chesapeake Bay and around the world until he was 93 years old. Another important mentor that you can see here is Jerry Olewski, an endocrinologist at University of California, San Diego, who was my PhD advisor and an expert in type 2 diabetes. Jerry is an example of doing important team-based science, but also always gives his trainees a gift of a different San Diego painting signed on the back by all their current team members to recognize it is the team that pushes the project forward. And next, my postdoctoral advisor at Harvard Medical School, Dr. Phil Leader, made the landmark discovery that DNA is a triplet code during his own postdoc, for which his advisor, Marshall Nirenberg, won the Nobel Prize. Something I really like to emphasize for the students and postdocs here at the School of Medicine is Phil was very young when he made this discovery, proving that scientists of any age can make amazing discoveries. Phil unfortunately passed away earlier this year, but he also gave his trainees a lab notebook, or solution manual as he called it, to fill with pictures from friends and team members. When I moved to the University of Maryland in 2004, I've been so incredibly thankful for the people who have worked alongside me during these years. When the group started, I was only a few years older than the students. The team has changed and grown during the years, and it isn't possible to thank them all individually for their many contributions. But I would like to particularly recognize Becky Bettis, Kiata Thompson, and Michelle Vitolo, who have all worked with me for more than 10 years and helped build the team to where we are today. And all the time this group is doing such challenging work, the lab members have always found ways to make the lab and group a fun place to be. From surprising me at lab meeting with a bobblehead that is a frighteningly good likeness, to flying an inflatable shark into my office and sending good luck texts with pictures when I interview for a big grant, to actually crafting a team patch from one of our images of a breast tumor cell isolated from a blood sample. It is all their efforts that make this research possible. From the years of hard work that they do to get invited for talks at major international meetings, the enthusiasm they share when NCI features one of our research images. From the time they first join the group until they leave with new degrees or new jobs, they push the research forward and even sometimes give Peg and me a good reason to wear our fancy academic robes. And finally, I would like to thank my family. My parents, who taught me hard work, persistence, and a positive attitude. They also managed to raise this group of 3 troublemakers successfully. And my 2 sisters, who have always inspired teamwork. My 3 kids, Kyle, Corinne, and Kira, who were very young when I started at the School of Medicine. Now Kira is entering 11th grade, and Kyle and Corinne are students in the School of Engineering at College Park. And most of all, my wife, Dr. Regina Martin, who has shared this entire adventure with me. We finished our PhD research at the University of California, San Diego, got married, defended our theses, and moved across the country to Boston for postdocs, all within only 3 months. And we certainly thought that that was a roller coaster until we decided to add 3 children to the mix. Together, we have shared that roller coaster and brought in the best in-laws anyone could ask for. And we also know that Angela and Harry always mixed their scientific pursuits with other adventures like horseback riding, mountain climbing, and skydiving. And Regina and I have also mixed our science with many adventures, including sailing, camping, and yes, even skydiving. And so in closing, I'm very happy that I can begin this role as the doctors Angela and Harry Brody Professor in Translational Cancer Research, and follow the inspiration of Angela and Harry to use scientific discovery to improve the lives of cancer patients. Thank you all very much.
Stuart, Dr. Martin, congratulations on this most well-deserved honor. It has been a pleasure to be a part of this ceremony today. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening, being a part of this virtual celebration in the hopes that one day we'll be able to celebrate in person again. I'm sure we will. This too will end. And this concludes our ceremony. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.